Are top 10 lists cliched? Yeah, of course they are. Are they fun? Again, yes. So in trying to figure out how we were going to put together a retrospective on this tumultuous year, we thought to ourselves, what kind of list should we put together? Should it be a top 10 list of our scariest moments? A top 10 list of our best evidence? But in the end, we decided the best way to end this particular year would be to end it with a laugh. So here are our top 10 funniest moments of 2020. One of the things we pride ourselves on is that while we do take what we do very seriously, we don't take ourselves very seriously. In my opinion, the paranormal community takes itself way too seriously to begin with, so we go out of our way not to. So when putting this list together, we looked at the pieces of evidence or things that we captured on camera that just generated a laugh out of us. Some of it is EVP reactions that are humorous off something we did. Sometimes it's the actions of our own investigators while investigating. And sometimes it's just something that was done by accident that got a laugh as we reviewed the evidence. So come with us and join us for this end-of-the-year retrospective on some of the moments that got the biggest laugh out of us, and hopefully out of you too. Number 10. The Freezing Wine Cellar. In the last part of our Halloween special, Emily and I spent the night in the Grapevine Farms wine cellar to try and gather evidence while we slept. I just made a video on why we choose to sleep in haunted locations and how we feel that helps us get evidence, so take a look at that if you haven't seen it. But one of the things we didn't talk about was how cold it was. You see, Tim and Tracy, in an effort to help our investigation and help us gather evidence, decided that they should cut down on the amount of noise that was in the wine cellar. The last time we placed a camera down there, back in July for our investigation, we had a hard time deciphering some of the EVPs we captured because there was too much noise. One of the ways they decided to remedy the noise problem was to turn off the furnace. Needless to say, Emily and I have never been colder in our lives than we were when we slept down there that night. We do not know how cold it actually was, but we were shivering and our jaws were shaking, and we actually ended up, if you look at the footage, you can see us just bundled up trying desperately to sleep. It was completely worth it to get the great evidence we received while sleeping in the basement, but we were freezing cold while doing it. Number 9. An unusual question. One of the joys of doing this is being able to bring our friends and family into it. And on several occasions, we have brought in very close members of my family into the investigation. My mother, who will appear later on in this countdown several times, and my stepfather, Al, accompanied us to Hillview Manor for our investigation back in August. It was during the Hillview Manor investigation that Al asked a question that I don't think has ever been asked in the history of paranormal investigation.
Yes? What principle do you operate on?
Now, I want to make it clear, the reason why this is so funny is not because of the question itself or the person who asked it. Al has an engineering background. He's a computer programmer. He has a very analytical mind. And asking what principle do you operate in is essentially just asking the spirit, what are you made of, or how do you exist? What makes it hilarious to me is that I can just see two spirits sitting off in the corner when they hear the question, what principle do you operate in? And looking at each other and saying, huh? So it's not the question that's funny, it's the fact that I can just see the spirits reacting to it in a very funny way. Number 8. Home Makeovers. We've met a lot of people in our investigations, but some of the most amazing people we've met are the owners of the very locations we investigate. Tim and Tracy, the owners of Grapevine Farms, have been extremely involved in all the investigations that have taken place on their property. So much so that we invited them on our investigation of the Bull's Head Inn. Only Tim could make it, so while Tim and Emily were investigating in the attic, suddenly, out of nowhere, it seemed like an episode of Extreme Home Makeover breaks out as Tim and Emily start discussing how they would decorate the attic if it were an apartment.
You could make it into a really cute apartment up here.
Sweet. Oh, there's a floor.
Fireplace down here.
Nice.
Couch.
Yeah, like a loft. Yeah.
Yeah, couch in front of the fireplace. Are we not listening to you, or are we go off on a tangent?
Tim's on a tangent. You just told us the whole story.
This is just out of absolutely nowhere that all of a sudden they go from investigating the paranormal to decorating the attic if it were an apartment. I honestly, when I was reviewing this evidence, I thought I had literally changed a channel from Ghost Adventures to Home Makeover channel. So this is just a hilarious moment where, in the middle of the investigation, an entirely new TV show broke out. Number 7. Make it stop. Going back to Hillview Manor, on the 3rd floor there was a resident named John. And John was very into religion, very into his Bible. They in fact still have his original Bible in what was his room. We got some great evidence while reading from his Bible while we investigated that floor. However, as the night went on and we continued reading from the Bible, it became very obvious once we reviewed the evidence that not every spirit up there was happy to hear it.
Enjoyed meeting you, and I think you should just stay here as long as you want to. Till it's time to move on, I guess.
It just goes to show you that while you are trying to communicate and read to one spirit, there may be other, less interested spirits listening in. Number 6. Almost falling through the attic floor. The attic at the Bull's Head Inn is one of my favorite rooms that we've investigated in a long time. There was just something about it, from the non-stop light anomalies to the energy to the banging on the walls, but there was one part of it that I almost had a very unfortunate experience with. The floor. You see, the floor of the attic is not completely finished. There are parts of it that you cannot walk on, and the part that you can walk on is a mixture of, wood and floorboards that you have to stay on, or you'll go straight through the insulation and down to the offices below, which is exactly what I almost did. Now, this footage is a little dark as I'm fixing the camera as it has been moved around and jostled by the other floorboards as a reaction to our investigators walking on it. As I go to fix it, you'll hear me say, whoops, and I almost went all the way through the floor. How you doing?
Nothing on here.
The audio said Jess.
Yeah, I saw that. The only thing is the...
Oh, the trail camera fell.
I know.
And
And
the
then
But we
battery
don't really.
thing.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
Can you hold that?
Please don't.
Number 5. A vulgar commentary. During an event at Grapevine Farms back in January, we were all in the basement together, and Tim started talking about how he wasn't happy that there wasn't more room to move around. And he was saying that the person that he had put in charge of making sure the basement had plenty of room hadn't quite done the job the way he wanted it to. It was at that moment that the Phasma box picked up a voice, presumably calling this worker kind of a not nice name.
Was it making it too cluttered? Did he just drop it off and leave it for me to put away? Yes. Well.
That's okay. That's what I thought I heard too.
Number 4. Please help her. During our July investigation of Grapevine Farms, one of the trigger objects we decided to bring were a set of jacks, which we didn't really know how to play very well. My mother actually played it the most, trying it in the attic and again on the second floor. Apparently, the spirits weren't all too impressed with her playing ability.
I haven't played it for a long time.
So in this case, the spirits said what we were all thinking. Number 3. Aaron drops an F-bomb. During the same July investigation of Grapevine Farms that I was talking about in the last entry, we tried something we had never tried before. We hooked up our nerve center with a camera so that we could broadcast it live out over Facebook. It's the closest we have ever come to putting all of you right in the investigation with us. During the briefing for the investigation, I pointed out that for the first hour and a half, we were going to be broadcasting live from Nerve Center, interacting with everybody who was watching. Guess who missed that meeting? On her way up from the basement, having just done a Fbomb session in the wine cellar, Erin came up and dropped a very loud and very noticeable F-bomb that went out across to everybody who was watching, which was several hundred people at the time.
What's going on?
Someone has a potty mouth.
Oh, yeah.
To her she's a
Facebook Live?
sorry.
Needless to say, we don't let Erin miss briefings anymore. Number 2. Finish. This next one we have never shown before. It is from an event that we did at the Worcester Inn with Tina Breslow and the Ghost Legends team way back in February. And I say way back in February because we all know February feels like it was about 8 years ago. But during that event, there were 3 investigators who went off with us, who had been to events with us before and have actually been to every event we've ever done. And it was during this time that the investigator and his spirit had a very interesting moment together.
Oh, I'm doing something on my right side. It's like,
Right side.
yeah, like,
No, just what I said, right side.
it's a piece. It is like something is like rubbing down, like.
Uh-oh.
Well, you said spoon.
Spooning.
Be careful what you ask for.
I'm not scanning her. The ghosts are worried with the eye.
Finish.
Ooh.
Wait,
He was
Levin, finish knee. Was he touching your
Oh
knee?
my god.
No!
That was quick. And we're done. Good night, everybody.
Sometimes when you do investigations, whether it's on an investigation or it's at a ghost hunt, something happens that it just blows you away as being just fall on the floor funny. And that is what this has been. And to this day, anytime anything weird ever happens in an investigation, we just say the word, finish. Number 1. Tim runs up the stairs. If you've watched our videos, you've seen this clip. There was no contest. This was number 1, the funniest thing that happened this year. In fact, if you listen to the clip, you can actually hear Jess and I from upstairs laughing from Nerve Center where we witnessed this happen live. We caught this on 2 cameras at the same time. It was funny then, and it's funny now.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Now, as funny as that is, I will defend Tim on this to the very end. Tim did not know that that REM pod was going to be there. He did not know what it was. It was the first time we had used a REM pod at Grapevine Farms. He did not expect it to beep. And as I always say, when people are shocked when we're frightened by things, the camera allows you to see it, you know, as if the room is lit up. But what Tim was seeing was a pitch black room, and then all of a sudden a red light starts beeping out of nowhere in the pitch black darkness. So I defend him on this. It was my fault, not his, but that doesn't make it any less our #1 funniest moment of 2020. So everyone, that's it for our list of funniest moments of the year. I hope you enjoyed the list. And I hope that you're all staying safe and staying well. It's been a journey. 2020 is unprecedented. And while we, like the rest of the world, didn't get to do everything that we had hoped to do, but we made it through. And things are looking up as we head into 2021. We have tried to give you content, tried to keep you engaged, tried to communicate with everybody. If one part of any of our videos interested you, captivated you, even if you got a laugh out of this video, that's a lot of why we do the content that we do. And life will go on. Life will go on, and unfortunately, so will death. But our adventures also will go on, and that is what we are looking forward to as we head into 2021. One of the things that you'll notice in all the clips and all the things that we've shown you here is people. And, the living people that we've met on this journey have meant just as much, if not more, to us than the spirits that we've encountered. And we've missed meeting new people, dealing with the people that we've met before. And hopefully, once we are all through this, we will all be able to come together again, online, in person, doing events, doing things, just getting our lives back to normal. So that being said, I hope everybody here has a fantastic holiday, a very happy new year, and that you stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in 2021.